All right. And we're going to be going live shortly. We've got 42 attendees in here so far.
Good stuff.
Mhm. And two, one. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Got plenty of room for you, so make sure you get in here and grab a seat. We're going to start in just maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Just going to give your colleagues time to come on in and get this information. So thank you guys for spending some of your afternoon with us today. Seems Thursdays is our standing dates these days for tasks. So we've been doing really good with our webinar series. I think Calabash is maybe webinar number, I'm getting confused, maybe 6 or 7 now. So we've had a lot of good presenters come in to share information on their properties and products with us. So thank you so very much. Oh, we got a hello from Atlanta. Hello, Quincy. I always say it wrong, but thank you for coming. You guys, please utilize the chat if you do have questions. Also have a Q&A section as well. Conrad, your fan club has shown up. So,
Yeah.
make sure you don't neglect your peeps as they are coming into the chat.
My
So,
God, Kate. Oh my God, Kate.
see?
Holy smoke, man. Oh my, Kate. You can't even say 15 years at least, huh?
It sounds like there's
Whoa.
a story there. Do we want to hear it? Maybe not. I don't know.
No, no. Oh my God.
So,
I just
um,
realized. I just realized the names popping up there. Oh hey.
yeah. So they're all coming in. So we got folks from Minnesota, Nashville, Montreal,
Oh wow.
Texas, Charleston. I hope you're staying safe, Susan, in Charleston, Birmingham, Ottawa. So we really got a nice group, a nice cross section of advisors. So thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to spend with me and Calabash Cove. And Calabash is going to be one of these products that I hold very near and dear because it's actually one of my products that I represent here in North America. So thank you, Conrad, for spending some time with us. And if you're not familiar with Conrad, you're saying to yourself, well, who is this? So I'll let you introduce yourself to the group, Conrad.
Yeah, there's not much to say. Most of you know me from my previous life when I worked for the 20 years for the Caribbean's leading all-inclusive resort company. and and some people I know from way back in Jamaica when I lived in Jamaica from 85 till 93 before coming to St. Lucia. But yeah, I've been doing this. It's pretty shocking. This June is 50 years that I'm working in tourism. I can't believe it myself. And I get ever so often a message from travel agents that they're retiring. And I mean, I would like to send that message one day soon too. But no, I'm originally from Europe, from Austria, been a hotelier all my life. And after my 20 years with Sandals, we built a little hotel with 26 rooms and a lot of space in a little private cove in St. Lucia. We called it Calabash Cove. And many of you have supported us over the last 15 years. So I want to say thank you very much for all the support you give us.
And thank you for that, Conrad. So, if you guys have clients that you're sending to Calabash, of course, let me know, but we'll also make sure Conrad is involved because he's a very hands on owner and he's always on property and has a love for his property, love for his guests. So, if your clients are looking for a very personalized touch to their vacation experience, they will get it at Calabash Cove. Before we go too far, Conrad, just drop your email in the chat. You guys, please keep your eye on the chat because the last time Conrad and I got together, I made a little oops. So we're going to make sure we don't have that oops today. I know some of you are coming into remembering that we're doing a giveaway. So you're going to have to email Conrad at the conclusion of this webinar with your answer. So Conrad, go ahead and type your email into the chat.
But
And
the easiest would be to use the hotel address. Most of you know my personal address, which is Conrad in St. Lucia, but info at Calabash Cove is probably better for this thing here.
okay, so let's type that in there and we'll type it in multiple times so you guys can have it. Make sure you go ahead and write it down now. So when it pops up in the chat, and it just popped up, make sure you go ahead and write that down because that is going to be your key to success with the stay that we're going to be
Jill.
giving away. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Conrad so we can talk all about Calabash Cove Resort and Spa.
All right. Well, here's a picture of the pool. And I want to make sure I don't bore all of you that are already a little familiar with the resort. So we're going to try to keep it as brief as possible. And then we can always talk more afterwards if you have specific questions. But St. Lucia these days enjoys a very good airlift. As you probably know, it's maybe not the cheapest place to fly to, but the lift is definitely there. And the island has been very popular the last 2-3 years. Sometimes when you're late, you can't always find the dates you want. So I would encourage you, if you can, try look at it from as soon as you can. Or you're brave and you wait for some sales. There's always, especially out of New York, JetBlue offers and so on, that are sometimes surprisingly low. St. Lucia itself is a little independent island with a French and English history. Most of you know it changed sites 13 times between the French and the English. We're very, very small, about 175,000 people, located between Barbados and Martinique, and maybe Antigua to the north. And we're 45 years independent this year. Calabash Cove is as you know, because it's me, an independent boutique resort. I'm not so big on stars, but and I get always into trouble because we have a lot of 5-star ratings on TripAdvisor. We're the highest rated hotel on TripAdvisor in our area. But I would like to think we call ourselves the luxury boutique resort, because for me, luxury is not just gold and marble and silver and so on and fine dining, but also space, the ability to let go, to find a lounge chair when you want one without having to wake up at 5 and put the towel there, have team members that have time to talk to you, and a fresh prepared meal, that takes maybe a little time, but it's fresh. You sit there and enjoy the environment. We have 26 rooms in 3 room categories. All of them have ocean view, right? So people sometimes ask, so which one of them has the best ocean view? They all have ocean view. And there's ocean view from the pool, there's ocean view from the pool bar, from the restaurant, from every balcony, from the bar, from most jacuzzis in the room, from the gym, and just about anywhere else. So it's not so that you're going to get short of ocean view. It's a very idyllic location. The hotel itself is located on about 6 acres, and there's a lot of blooming plants around, a garden to walk through. There are hundreds, probably thousands of blooming plants around. It's very quiet because the beach is the next best thing you can find to a private beach. As you know, there are really no private beaches in the former Commonwealth, but ours is sort of difficult to get to. You can't drive all the way to the beach. You have to walk 200-300 meters from the car park. And so St. Lucians don't like to do this. They like to drive to the beach, pull out their cooler, crank up the radio, and hang out. So it is really very, very secluded. And it's very protected too. There's a reef about 250 yards offshore. So it's also calm. We're adults only. Adults only in terms that we take 16 years old children and older. But you have to be very careful. If you have a 16-year-old kid here, you really don't do the child any favor, unless the parents work so hard that they really want to spend quality time with their child. But otherwise, not a whole lot to do for a teenager. But because of the adults only, it makes for a quiet, romantic place. There's no screaming. There's no loud music anyway to begin with. So it's not unusual for you to hear the birds while you're having breakfast or lunch. We think we're a really good, safe environment. Safe for single travelers. We have always singles, more single ladies really than single men staying here, because they're totally comfortable. There's no pressure to do anything. There's no real solicitation. And so they like the environment. The same thing with same-sex couples, right? I mean, as you all know, the Caribbean is a funny place when it comes to these things. And so sometimes people are hesitant to come here, but it's an absolutely perfect environment for same-sex couples because the team members are used to it. For two ladies, it's safe, and for two guys, nobody's going to sort of look at them in any funny way. And it's also very easy to get away from everybody. You don't have to rub shoulders. But it's a good place for that. And I don't know how it works, but we get them all the time. So obviously, they must be talking to each other that it's a good place to visit. And obviously, no kids, right? If it's adults only, it's a quiet, child-free environment. As I said, there are 3 accommodations. This is the premium accommodations, our water's edge cottages with pool. They are quite unique. While they may be not super duper glitzy and somewhat low key, they're really close to the ocean, and you will be very hard pressed to find anything similar that is so close with nothing in front of you, no walkway, no big beach, no crowd. They're just really very, very cool accommodations. Then we have about 13 Sunset Ocean View Junior Suites. That's the view from the jacuzzi, actually. So as you can see, there's ocean view everywhere.
Actually, just to share with the group, in Task, I did post a video today promoting our session today, and that was from that view that I posted where you could hear all the birds chirping. That was from one of the ocean view suites. So you have spectacular views everywhere on the property.
Yeah, and all the rooms have the basic amenities. They all have a double vanity, a rain shower, a jacuzzi, a king size bed, a bar that is stocked if you opt to book the all inclusive. We can later touch on that because we have 2 options. And of course, they all have a patio, a balcony, and ocean view. Yeah, more rooms of the Sunset Ocean View Junior Suites. And then we have 4 swim ups. They go, as the name suggests, directly into the main pool. And again, very often resorts create swim up rooms to create some kind of added value. In most cases, they're somewhere in the back of the hotel where you can't see the ocean, but it creates a better revenue for these hotels. And in our cases, we have them at the front with beautiful ocean view, but they're not our largest rooms. So the rooms themselves are not super large, especially with a big king-size bed and so on, but they have a very large patio and extremely popular. And since we have only 4, it's very hard to get in on them. And it's not uncommon for people to change their dates until they find a period when one is available. The other interesting thing is that out of the 26 rooms, there are really only 2 that are exactly identical. All the other ones are mirror images, have slightly different furniture, slightly different shape, slightly different patio or balcony. But the basic amenities are the same. So we're back at the Water's Edge cottages. They all have a very large living room patio with a day bed, obviously a bedroom, and all the other amenities I mentioned earlier, from the king size bed to the bar, except that they also have a hammock on the patio and an outdoor rain shower, a private outdoor rain shower, and obviously the pools. And again, the ocean view. Some of them are closer to the beach, and we it's not uncommon for people to sleep out there. We have a returning guest that always sleeps on the patio because she likes to hear the waves at night. Here in the background, you see a gazebo. We'll see it later again, where we do private dinners, experiences like beachfront massages, and of course also sometimes, of course, weddings.
And then all of the cottages come with the plunge pool.
Yeah, all of them come with a plunge pool. And really and truly, if you have guests staying in a cottage, you don't see them much during the day, right? You just see them at dinner, and they have breakfast there. They very often have lunch there. And even if they become friends with another couple or so, with the kids staying in a different room, then they just ask for 2 more chairs, and then 4 of them can have lunch there on the patio. And it's enough shade and so on. So you really, if you have somebody who's fortunate enough to book one of these, they are usually pretty happy.
Before we go too far, Conrad, we have a couple of questions, and just maybe this will be a good spot to break.
Sure.
Sonia, and we had another advisor ask about Lyft out of Canada. And yes, we do, ladies, we do have Lyft with Air Canada and WestJet. I can send you some information. Both of those are going to be out of Toronto into St. Lucia. So yes, there is Lyft out of Canada. So we do have something for you. A lot of times the Canadian agents are like, "What about us?" So there is some Lyft out of Canada into St. Lucia. And then Miss Lula is
And
asking.
certain times of the year there's Sunwing too, but most of our guests don't travel on Sunwing, to be honest.
Hear you. So Miss Lula is asking if we can provide her with some videos and pictures that she can use on her social media. So we will definitely make sure we put some videos in the task group, as well as have some links in our follow-up thank you to you guys, so you can have some of those to use as well. Let me ask you one question, because I get this question sometimes from people with regard to the swim up junior suites. There are always some concern that either A, people are going to see them from the pool while they're in the room, and then B, won't there be so many people at the pool? Won't it be like disruptive? So I'll let you answer that.
Well, first of all, you can look for yourself. If you go to the website, there's a 360 camera that runs day and night. It pans, so sometimes you see the pool and sometimes you see the beach, but you can look all day long. You will never see a crowd. In all fairness, I mean, the people from the cottages, they don't spend a whole lot of time in the pool, and some people, some Europeans, they prefer the beach over the pool. So out of the 50 potential guests, we already take about 20, 25 out of the equation to begin with. Yes, I mean, sometimes you can have 6 or 8 guys around the pool bar. Then it gets a little lively at 4 o'clock before it closes. But it's really not an issue, because most of our guests are not the loud type. Most of them have traveled a little bit, have been around, and don't engage in drinking games and shouting and so on. And just so you know, the glass on the swim ups and all the rooms is reflective, so you can actually not look in. If the door is closed, you cannot look in. You can see your mirror image in the window, but you can't see what's going on inside. And at night, if you want to, there's also a blackout curtain if you want to sleep late. But it's facing a sunset side anyway, so there's no morning sun to go there. Privacy is not the issue ever at Calabash Cove, right? That's not really what it is. It's more so that people sometimes say, well, you have only one restaurant and the pool restaurant and pool bar, and that is a true question, it's a true argument, a good point, because some people want 4, 5, and 6 restaurants to choose from, even though if they end up going to the same 2 all the time anyway. But we try to work against this by obviously having a slightly different menu at the pool that we have in the restaurant, and that we have daily specials. They change as it suggests every day, to sort of give a little bit more variety. And then also there's no extra charge for room service. If you're on the all-inclusive, then naturally there's no charge. But if you're on the EP and you order room service, it doesn't cost you more than if you would have it in the restaurant. So we try to work around it. It's more so that people sometimes say, oh, let's go out, and then they go out once, and then they're a fan anyway. Then they come back and don't go out again. But it is what it is. We don't make any secret. We say we have one restaurant, and you know, it is what it is.
But it's not just one restaurant. It's one really good restaurant.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. We have most of our guests appreciate what we do. I'm stuck on that lobster picture because we do serve a lobster dish. We do serve a lobster dish every day as part of the daily specials, and they're included as part of the all-inclusive. There are no surcharges in the all-inclusive. I hate surcharges. Just
and then not only that, no surcharges, no buffet lines.
Yeah, well,
everything is white linen tablecloths. So this is really fine dining throughout the day. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of certain things, so I like to have a place where I can tell my friends, come for a meal, and I don't have to worry about if they like it or not. But it's all low key. I mean, we ask for closed shoes and dress shorts or long pants for dinner, but you don't have to dress up. And every meal is really prepared fresh. And we don't exclude anything. So there's no surcharge for a steak. We even include 24 wines from the wine list by the bottle as part of the unconditional all-inclusive. So here's a look of the restaurant again with the piano. We have a red piano right in the lobby because we have live music every night. It's one night the piano player, other days it's a steel pan or just a singer, but it's somebody different every evening during dinner, and it's dinner music. It's not loud showtime music. And the music is not in front of you, in your face, where you like to look out in the ocean, but behind you in the background. But obviously you can see the ocean everywhere. So after a few days, it's not as important anymore to people. We have a little spa, right? Tea spa. It really comes from the French petit spa, little spa. And tea is really the patois word for small. So tea spa is our little spa. We do a lot of treatments wherever people want them. In this case, there's a picture of the gazebo. We do a fair amount of sunset treatments there. We also do sunset experience with a private dinner, and then first the massage, then the dinner. Then afterwards, we run a bubble bath and serve it's a chocolate dessert with champagne in the room. It's just one of the experiences we offer. Then we also do some treatments on the beach and, of course, in the spa itself.
And also, don't forget the locally sourced ingredients that you use in the spa. That to me was just the best.
Yeah, we're small, so when you're small, you can do all kinds of crazy things. We make our exfoliation lotions on ourselves using different local ingredients from papaya to mango, coffee, ginger, and so on. You smell so good afterwards when you try to.
You smell good, you feel good. Yes, that was a good spa experience. It was. Yep. We have a few questions before we hit the fitness center. Miss Susan is wanting to know, how many Water's Edge cottages do we have?
Yeah, there are 9. There's 9 units, and one of them actually has a connecting door on the balcony. But just, in 15 years, we used it once. Even people that travel together, they say don't unlock the connecting door. But 9 of them. Okay. And they're all the same, but slightly different,
Okay.
With the jacuzzi, some have the jacuzzi in the bathroom, some have the jacuzzi in the bedroom, some are a little closer to the beach, and so on.
And then Miss Courtney would like to know, what time does the pool close, the main pool?
Yeah, it doesn't really close, huh? I mean, we don't close it. I had this conversation with our maintenance manager this morning because we're having a health inspection on next week Tuesday, and he said, what are we going to tell them when the pool closes? I said, well, we tell them it doesn't close. I said, what if we have to treat it? I said, well, we're treating it every day, right? So we just have to be careful how we treat it after hours, but we don't really close it. We couldn't anyway, because people book a swim up because they want to swim early morning or late at night, and so we don't really close it. It's 4 feet deep anyway, 4.5 feet at its deepest, so you can put down your feet anytime you want. And if you're 16 years old, the chances are you're tall enough to do so. So we can really leave it open all day and night.
Miss Teresa, and we may want to say this to the end, she's asking about travel agent rates. Do you want to get into that right now, or do you want to hold on?
It's no secrets. We have a travel advisor rate of $250 all inclusive, $250 plus taxes, and there are no limitations. It comes with the taxes, the $312 per couple per night. It's on a space available basis, which really means it's very, very difficult to get it in after about the 6th of January all the way to April, but it's fairly easy to get it in summer month. So in winter, you would have to do it on a last minute basis. Maybe if it's 3-4 night, it often works out. If it's 7, it's more difficult. And it hasn't really changed. In 15 years, we had the same travel agent rate. And there are no restrictions. We allocate the best room that's available at the time of arrival. And we have a fair amount of travel agents that do stay with us, right? from my old friends from my sandals days. They get a few sandals nights, and then they say, Conrad, can we come for 2 or 3 nights with you? We always work it out. And if you've sent us a booking before, we usually throw in a couple free nights anyway. So as long as there's space, we gladly share it with you.
Awesome. Could you
The dress
repeat?
code? Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
repeat the dress code.
it's casually elegant, right? I mean, we don't want wet bathing suits in the restaurant at lunchtime, but shorts and something at the top is fine. Uh, for dinner after 6 o'clock, we ask people to wear long pants, but we don't really insist on it. We suggest they wear long pants, and probably a third of our male guests will wear dress shorts. What we do ask is closed shoes. We don't want flip flops and sandals, mainly because it's terrible to say, but not everybody looks after the toes as a male that ladies do, and it can be very offensive to other guys, right? And to ladies sitting next to it. It's a bit awkward. People sometimes say, why? I said, listen, it's a rule. But otherwise, as long as you have a shirt with a collar, then you're welcome. A polo shirt is fine. We don't really make a big fuss about it.
All right.
We just don't want flip-flops because all the English people wear long pants, right? And almost all of them wear a proper shirt. So we're trying to strike a balance that's acceptable to everybody.
To all your guests, right? All right. Miss Melanie is asking, and this will be the last question until the end. Any kind of entertainment?
Yeah, I mean, we don't do any shows. We just have dinner entertainment every night. I mean, on Monday it's a steel band, then it's a singer, then it's the piano player, a mentor band. So it's different entertainers every 7 nights of the week, but it's not a show. It's just very enjoyable dinner music that is live. And it's often so when people just arrive, it takes them 10, 15 minutes to realize that the music is live because some people clap all of a sudden and they look, oh yeah, look, there's live music. So that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Ladies can wear nice sandals because I'm never worried because a lady that doesn't have, listen, I know when we go on vacation, if a lady's feet are not looked after, she's not going to put on sandals. All right, let's move on, people. We have a pretty spectacular pool. For the size of hotel, it's very large. And here on the top of the picture, you can actually see the steps leading to the swim-ups. But it has ocean view, and it's not uncommon in the afternoon that a whole bunch of people lean against that infinity edge and watch the sunset.
Mm-hmm. I did that.
So this gives, yeah, I mean, they do. And if there's a wedding in the thing there, then sometimes they sit up there too and watch the wedding. But this is a good idea of what the hotel really looks like. The restaurant at the top, the Sunset Ocean View rooms below the restaurant, then the swim-ups, and then the large pool with the pool bar, some water's edge cottage at the front with the gazebo, and then obviously the beach below. Here gives you an idea how close really many of these water's edge cottages are to the beach. And as I said earlier, we're really lucky because there's a reef about 250 yards out. So even during rough seas and storms, the waves hardly ever reach the grass.
It is a beautiful, calm beach. Pretty shallow too, so you really can get some nice.
No, it's not too bad. And that we give people a snorkeling gear for free. Obviously, we provide kayak, snorkeling gear, and paddleboards. And because we are so small, people sometimes take the snorkeling gear and they keep it for the week. And on checkout, they bring it back. That way, they don't need to go to the concierge every time and ask for it. There's no signing process anyway. They just keep it. Then also, if they go on a tour, like if they rent a car, go out on their own, they can take it with them. We can do because we're small and independent. I'm sure a large resort can't do it for a million reasons that the lawyers give them and everybody else. So it's just a lot of beach pictures. This time of year, I like to show pictures from the beach. Right, we do weddings. If you know me, then you know I'm really not soliciting weddings, but we offer them. We never do more than one on any given day, and every one of them is really an individual affair. We have wedding packages and people book them, but then they still have to decide what they do and how they want to do it, where they want to do it, and at what time. And it's totally up to them. And if they're running half an hour late, then there's also no problem in scheduling because there's not one scheduled right after. They just do when it suits them. And most of our weddings is in the afternoon, 4:30. It's not so hot anymore, and it gives plenty time afterwards to take pictures. They have a few options. Obviously, here's the boardwalk, then the beach. And the nice thing is, if you have a beach wedding, there are not 50 people standing around, or somebody walking behind you while you say yes. It's just some things that small places can do. Sometimes when we have smaller groups like this, they had a private dinner on the beach, but most people is two of them, and they sometimes have one or both sets of the parents with them, and they very often have then the wedding dinner on the boardwalk or in the gazebo. It's just a picture of two ladies. We sometimes have a few girls before one of them gets married, because again, it's a safe environment. There's nothing going on, so that sometimes happens. Obviously, it's a long distance from most of you, so it's not a cheap proposition, but it does happen once in a while. We don't have yoga classes as such, but we provide yoga mats, and we have from time to time people that do their yoga thing. They take the mat, they take it on the paddleboard. I have no idea how you can relax on a paddleboard, but on the boardwalk, on the beach, on the lawn, or in the gazebo, or on their own patio to yoga. We had in January actually a yoga group from Washington, D.C. But everything we do is individual and quiet and unforced. We don't even solicit tour sales, right? So we give people a QR code, and if they want to go on an excursion, then the concierge will be happy, recommend it to them, but you don't try to sell them one if they don't want to. Then, of course, the unconditional all-inclusive. We think that it's fairly unique, right? We don't try to sell you a bottle of wine if you don't want to buy one. We don't try to upsell you to a steak or to a lobster. And I can give you plenty of examples on what happens in all-inclusive hotels in terms of upselling and so on. We just don't do it, right? We don't charge for the cabanas. And I don't like the all-inclusive promise to break down after the bellman says, "Welcome to Calabash Cove," right? The people have to be able to relax and feel comfortable. If they want to spend some money, we gladly take it. And that's really what it is. We like to work with travel agents. I mean, I do. You were really good to me when we just opened up and nobody knew me. So I appreciate this. We pay 15% commissions. We try to pay it really fast. And we will work with you. And if you tell us that you're the booking agent, we also send them something on arrival with a nice little card from you and us. Because we like to know them, right? And also, if there's a problem, we also won't hide, right? You can find us, and we'll try to find a way to sort it out. Nobody is perfect. I say for sure we're not perfect, but unique. We have some promotion, 5th night, 7th night free, with the exception of Christmas, 7th night in winter, 5th night in summer. It's not really combinable with anything else, right? So if you, for example, also want to take advantage of the free transfers, you need to have 7 paid nights, right? So that would be in winter, at least at least 8 nights at any time. And we also answer our requests really fast, right? Either at reservations or at info@calabashcove.com. If you don't want to call, we will get back to you on the same day, even on the weekend. I can talk all day long, right? So if there's anything you'd like to talk to me
about. I was going to say, stop right there, Conrad. Don't advance the slide.
I didn't forget. Well, please worried that I go on and on and on.
Yes, yes. Well, the more you talked, the more people started dropping in more questions. So we're going to go through some of those. Also, guys, if you click at the top of your screen where it says handouts, you should be able to download a flyer on Calabash Cove. So if you see that link there, just go ahead and download it. And that way you can keep some information on hand. Okay, yes. So let's start from the top. We have somebody asking about food allergies, how you handle food allergies with the restaurant.
For some of you that know me, I have a daughter that is celiac and also diabetic. So we're very sensitive to these things. We're probably one of the very, very few hotels, especially small hotels, that even have a vegetarian menu. with a lot of vegan options because it's a really growing market segment. There's not, even though we have only 50 guests, right? There's not a week when we don't have 2 or 3 with food allergies. It's quite scary how many people cannot enjoy certain things. So it's a non-issue. We work around them. We have a lot of people that book all-inclusive that are vegan, right? We work with them and cook them whatever they want. And because we're so small, we ask them what they like, and we just do it as part of the all-inclusive. It's a non-issue really for us because we're so small. We know our guests.
You're able to easily accommodate. Yeah.
Yeah. All we ask them is that the first day they introduce themselves to the restaurant, so that we know that they really that they are that inclined, and we take care of it. It's really a non-issue.
Okay. We've got another food-related question. So, agent wants to know the average cost of a meal for those who don't choose the all-inclusive option. I'm assuming maybe she means dinner.
Well, first of all, believe it or not, it's less expensive than any comparable restaurant on the island, and that's why the people that don't book all-inclusive after the first night or second night out don't go out again. It's actually so that very often they say, can we switch to all-inclusive? We say, no problem. You can switch. You just can't switch back because I don't want to fight afterwards for the stuff in the bar. Because we put large bottles of liquor in there, and I don't want to have to ask for them if they go off the all-inclusive again. But, yeah, I mean, it depends, right? An appetizer is in the $12, $15 range. A main course is anywhere from 30 to lobster is 49, and the desserts are about in the $10-12 range. It's
very affordable.
I mean, obviously, if you're from New York, everything is cheap anyway, right? But I hate to say this, but I went with my managers. We do exchanges, right? We go for a Christmas dinner somewhere. And I went to an all-inclusive hotel, and they gave me the menu, and he said, by the way, these items are extra, right? And it was $48 extra for the steak. So I thought, wow, right? But it works because the people are used to paying extra, right? In some hotels, they charge $150 a day to use the cabana, and people do it so they can show off and say, my God, I'm in a cabana, and they're proud of having paid $150. Right. We don't do it. We're probably leaving a lot of money on the table, but I just don't like to do it. So if you want cheap food, it's not a greasy spoon, right? That's not what it is, right? It's also not fast food, and we don't have any buffets. But it's much less expensive than 4 or 5 of the other premier restaurants in the island.
And it's good quality food. And if your clients are foodies, they will definitely appreciate staying at Calabash Cove. So we've got a question. Go ahead.
I challenge you. You won't find an all-inclusive hotel with food like that. If you find one, let me know. I go check it out myself. You just cannot be in a hurry. I say this all the time. You cannot be in a hurry. If in a hurry, this place is not for you because they will make their plate fresh.
The service is good, though. It's not, you don't have to wait a long time. The service is good. I tell you, okay, not to veer off, but the last time I was there, and you talked about the room service, and I was just walking around the property taking photos, and this young lady, I mean, I had to wait till she delivered the food because she had to traverse through, the walkways, and she was perfectly balancing everything. And I said, kudos. And she said, oh, I do it all the time. I'm used to it. So, just again, additional level of service that your clients can get when they come to Calabash, and just the care that the staff puts into making sure they meet your needs. It was just class act all the way. Miss Deborah is asking about handicap accessible rooms. Do we have any?
I get that. I get asked that question about once a month. Unfortunately, it's just not possible, right? You can actually get to the restaurant from the car park over ramps because it's open to the public, and we have. And you may have heard me say this before. We have a few people that have issues. We have a returning guest from Atlanta actually that has over the years lost her eyesight, right? So, and a little bit mobility. So she gets the same room every time they stay with us. We put 100-watt light bulbs in all the lights, take off the shades because she can still differentiate shades, and she knows where everything is because we want to make sure that the bed, the chairs, and so in the same place. And they have a cottage so where she can hear the ocean. And we take her to the room. To be honest, we just take a car from the lobby and drive her down to the cottage to get there easier. I have another friend. I mean, there's a friend, he's a returning guest, right, who has mobility issues due to Parkinson's, right? And he doesn't have the shaky kind, if I may say so. He has a balance issue. And he also stays in a water's edge cottage. And since over the years, the illness has gotten worse, we actually installed a railing for him so he can get into the pool easier and out again. And we also drive him to the room. Or if he wants to walk somewhere and he says, listen, can somebody walk with me just to be sure? Then we do that too. But we're not a place that is suitable for physically challenged people. We have ever so often somebody in a wheelchair, but I honestly, when I see this, I cringe because they are very athletic people and they just want to prove they can do everything that everybody else can. But it's difficult to negotiate the stairs, and I would never dare say it's in any way suitable.
Miss Catherine was asking about women being able to wear sandals to dinner. Yes, you can wear your open toe shoes and your open toe sandals, Miss Catherine.
We're just not really fond of the plastic flip flops, but otherwise.
Miss Christie is asking if we offer excursions from the resort.
Yeah, we have a concierge, and you can see most of the experiences and excursions available on the website. They're all listed. They can all be charged to the room. They can be booked in advance or afterwards. And because we are so small, you can sit down with a concierge and talk it over for a few minutes, and they'll guide you in depending what you want to do. And most of the excursions include transfers. But for us, it's not a huge profit center. We just do it as a service. And you will find that they're also slightly less than most of our competitors. But the downside is, because we don't mark him up, we also don't pay commissions on them, right? So,
okay, very good. Miss Karen is asking about our shoulder season. When is our shoulder season?
Yeah, I mean, we really have pretty much only 3 rates. We have the Christmas period when everything is crazy, and then we have winter from the usually about the 5th of January till about the 5th of April is winter. And then from the 6th of April till about the 20th, 22nd of December is summer. The winter and summer rates are very, very similar. The only thing is that sometimes we throw in an extra 5% offer. So for a specific period, if it happens to be slow. But in terms of space, we don't take children, right? So come July, it's probably not busy. The best time to visit here is after May, when it's not fall, when it's quieter, and it's still really good weather until usually June, July. And then there's space all of July, August, September, sometimes in October. Lately, because sadly enough, some other destinations had storm issues. And obviously, if there's a storm somewhere else and St. Lucia is not affected, then it fills out October, November fairly quickly. But the quieter time is clearly from end of May till Christmas.
Okay. How far is the resort from the airport?
Yeah, well, we have 2 airports, right? But really the one that only counts is here in Nora, which is the airport on the southern tip of the island. It's about a 90 minutes transfer. These days, if they come in the afternoon and the city has a lot of traffic, it can take slightly more. But it's usually about 90 minutes from here, Nora International. And if you book the transfers with us, we only do luxury cars. We don't really do buses, and we don't really put a lot of people together. And if they're staying long enough, then we also pay for private car. It's usually a uniformed driver that meets them there with drinks, because we include soft drinks, beer, water in the.
Get your piton on arrival.
Yeah.
Miss Lorraine is asking if the people who are in the swim out pool rooms ever complain about noise at night.
No. I'm honest. This is total transparency. The only room that sometimes somebody hears is right below the kitchen. Right, there's 1 or 2 rooms that are sort of below the kitchen that you sometimes hear it if somebody moves a table or so. But you don't understand. This is a quiet place. a lot of people don't understand it, and that's why the English love it so much. There is no screaming. Even guests don't shout at each other, right? It's just a quiet place. Yeah, noise is not a problem.
Miss Debbie is asking, could we do a buyout of the resort at
Yeah,
26 rooms?
yeah, Debbie, we do buyouts once in a while, and if you email me later on, I send you the details. It's no problem. Uh, the challenge is that we're fairly successful, right? So we achieve quite a decent occupancy. So we only do buyouts if they're at least 6 nights, and not we can't do 3 night buyouts. And even though we get a lot of requests over the years, we had only 3, I believe, that really came about. And in that case, in both cases, the parents of the wedding couple just put down the deposit, right? Because the challenge you have is somebody has to guarantee these 26 rooms, because if it then doesn't happen, somebody is stuck with the bill. We do them usually more for an incentive group or so, right? But the challenge is obviously the length of stay and arrival or departure will have to be on a weekend. But if people can do it, it's totally magical, right? I mean, I can tell you a wedding on a buyout is out of this world. First of all, they can change the entertainment, they can do a beach party, they can have an amazing wedding dinner, right, with orchestrated entry and all that, and they can put any theme they want on there. They can do a boat ride, they pick them up from the beach, and so on. But it's not an inexpensive proposition.
Miss Deborah is asking, and this is probably going to have to be our last question before we get into our drawing. But Miss Deborah is asking, how do we handle snacks on property?
Yeah, I mean, we have room service really until 9:30 at night, right? So from 7:30 to 9:30 is room service. We don't do midnight snacks or midnight room service, unfortunately. And people that leave really early, like some people that they're going to epitome hike, they want to leave early. We arrange a breakfast for them that they can either have in the room that they take with them, and then they make themselves a coffee in the coffee maker, or we have something set up that they grab on the way out at 7:30 in the morning. And for groups, if we have a larger group, sometimes we have 10, 12 people that decide to go on a epitome hike or something, leave early. Then we just open the restaurant for them early and set up a breakfast for them. But otherwise, we don't have snacks unless they buy a granola bar and take it with them, or we put some chips in their fridge in the room.
Okay, so I just typed in the chat, info@calabashcove.com. Conrad, is that right?
Yeah, that's me. You'd be surprised, right? People don't always realize. And then when they check in, sometimes they say, "Who is Conrad? Is he here?"
Okay, before we get to the prize, we've had a couple people ask about the specials page. So I'm going to slide back, because I think one of the other things to bear in mind, because someone else was also asking about booking with a wholesaler, there are benefits to booking direct. And we kind of went over some of those, and these kind of fall into that as well, right, Conrad, with booking direct? Maybe you could kind of talk a little bit about the specials that we offer for our direct booking folks.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I want to make it very clear, I don't really care how you book, right? I will also not solicit one of your guests to book with me direct. It's not what we do. So if you have a preferred tour operator, by all means, then work with them. We do. I'm surprised how much business we do with American Leisure Group and with Vacation Express. It surprises me, right? And so if that's working for you because you get 2% extra commission, that's fine with me. So I'm not suggesting you that you have to book with me direct. The advantage is if you book direct, that we establish a rapport, right? That we can send something to the guests from you, that we know that we tell them we know the travel agent, and then we do the free transfers and so on. And if there is an opportunity to upgrade somebody, it's not easy anyway, then it's probably likely to happen if it's with somebody that booked with us direct. And we probably paid a 15% commission faster than most companies. But I'm not here to solicit direct business. I know I'm supposed to, but that's not really 5% won't kill me. Plus,
right.
to be honest, since I absorb the credit card charge, it's almost the same in any case, and the rate is slightly lower. But you need to do what is comfortable for you. If you, for example, don't want to book through the website and do the travel agents and travel insurance separately, and you have it with the tour operator, then by all means, tell me, Conrad, I booked this through Travel Impressions or whatever. Then we still look out for them.
Very good. So, everybody, I hope you wrote down info@calabashcove.com, info@calabashcove.com, because we're getting ready to go into our drawing. So, first of all, what are we giving away, Conrad?
Hi, Melanie. Thank you. I can't remember, right? So I think
3 nights.
it's all inclusive at
Yes.
Calabash Cove. No,
So
it's
3
yeah,
nights all inclusive, Calabash Cove, and we're going to ask a question, and
yeah.
I'll let Conrad answer. And once you have the answer, do not put it in the chat. Email Conrad directly at info@calabashcove.com. Again, info
Yeah,
at
that's the only way I can tell it was fast, right?
So,
Info at
okay.
calabashcove.com. But some of you email me on a regular basis anyway, so it probably comes up. Yeah, I mean, it's really in the question is in relation to our French history. I talked earlier about the meaning of the word small or little in French. So we're really asking what the name of our spa is. And I'm not fussy about the spelling. If I believe you got it right, then type in the name of our spa, and then I will check who the first one is to answer.
All right. So get your fingers typing and send that off to Conrad, because the first right answer he gets, that's going to be the winner. So thank you guys. Yes, Jerry, we did record this, so it will be available hopefully later on today. If you have any more questions, you have Conrad's information, and then I'm going to put my information in here as well. So if you want to contact me, I am the representative for Calabash Cove here in North America. So you can always reach out to me with any questions that you may have about the property as well. So
We have,
thank
we have a
you.
winner, of course, right? We have a winner, of course. I mean, there's about 10 of you already, but we have one. So
Well, let's not burst everybody's bubble. Let everybody have a chance to send it in. You never know. You never know. All those 10 might be wrong. So still send your answer in to Conrad. So thank you guys. We will be following up with a thank you message and some photos and videos that you can use on your social media as well. Hopefully, we'll be seeing you or your clients down at Calabash Cove in the very near future. They will not be disappointed. I'm trying to figure out how I can get back myself. So, thank you guys so much again, and we will see you next week. Next week, we've got a very good seminar coming up with some local Caribbean tour operators and giving you some additional insight on how to book some Caribbean destinations. So stick with us. We're on a great roll with tasks. We've got tons of great information coming your way. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
bye. Thank you. Thanks for all the kind comments in the comments. Thank you. Bye.